Even if we call it a boundary, just so you know, you also don't have to explain why your boundaries exist.
You don't.
And if you need help with that, the holistic psychologist constantly reminds you that you actually do not have to explain why a boundary is a boundary. That it just is.
Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dig into the groundbreaking convo I had with Kristen McGuiness in our last episode. If you haven't yet listened to that interview, feel free to pause this now, go back and listen to that one, and then come back and join us.
No hard feelings. We'll still be here.
She's a great.
Oh, yeah.
I have actually shared her.
Okay, so hold on. Did she write the book that you read that you told me?
Different book, but yes,
really?
I know.
Okay. Wow.
I know.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, no, different book, but same topic. At any rate, it's in my TBRs still, Kristen. I'm so sorry.
It's a TBR.
To be read.
It's just a TBR.
Yeah, it's just a TBR. This one, I'm really excited because I have actually talked about her multiple times to multiple people, because this woman, when I interviewed her, she was on her monthly, 3 days in a hotel to get her shit written, to get things done. And I just love that this woman was, okay, I'm not going to get anything done. I'm not going to even try. I'm just going to keep the wheels on the bus. And then every month I get several days at a hotel uninterrupted. I'm like, I don't even have kids and I want that. Anyways, before we talk about that, let's talk about how it's March 20th. 2025, and it's International Day of Happiness. If you're happy and you know it, celebrate it on International Day of Happiness on March 20th.
Clap your hands. Right.
Anyways, when I was a kid, my mom would always sing that all the time. So
that's so fun.
Other than being in a neutral state, happy is how we should mostly be. Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, emotions
don't fuck it up.
Just feel like there's a lot of pressure. Unfortunately, emotions like anger and sadness are increasingly becoming a default way to be for a lot of us. So here's a day to cheer up and appreciate the good things and silver linings in life. Yeah. So as you listen to Pharrell Williams' Happy on repeat, also take a minute this March 20th to consider what truly makes you happy and how you can pursue it. Well, I can get down with that part of the holiday. Why don't you really take some time to journal what makes me happy and how can I pursue that more?
Happy. All right.
That's the only part of the song you know.
Well,
because I'm happy.
That's the best part of the song. Is that how that goes?
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways.
Good job. Nailing it.
We are back from Pilates on tour. We are home for a little bit, and we are in the middle of the accessories flashcard pre-sale. And I promised Brad I was not going to talk about it, but he clearly is sneaking into the show notes. So I'm just going to say, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
And that's how it's going to be. If you know, you know.
And if you don't know and you're like, what?
Go listen to the other recap episode and get the link. But
DM us.
But I want you to take action steps sooner. Okay. All right. So what's coming up next that you need to know about is our spring training. It is April 27th through May 3rd. It's going to be virtual. There'll be live events and there is replays. So don't worry about it if you're like, oh my God, it's the busiest week of my life. Promise you'll be able to attend the things on replay. You want to go to opc.me/events. Pretty soon I'll tell you what the theme is going to be about this spring training. But all the OPC teachers and myself are teaching multiple classes over the week on different pieces of apparatus for different levels of bodies so that every Pilates lover of any level can have access to moving with accountability, Q&A to get feedback on their form, and potentially seeing what OPC is all about.
What is it about?
opc.me/events plural to get on the wait list, which means you get the discount. What's next, Brad?
All right. Pilates business owners, calling all Pilates business owners. Go to prfit.biz/accelerator for a free webinar where we're going to dig into the biggest 3 secrets that Lesley and I have learned after coaching 2,500 businesses just like yours, whether you are teaching someone at home, whether you're renting space with someone, or whether you've got a big team in a brick and mortar studio. These 3 secrets all apply to you, and it's all about how do we make more money? How do we make our businesses actually profitable? And that's what we do at Profitable Pilates. So come join me. It is free. prfit.biz/accelerator. That is profit without the O, .biz/accelerator. And then finally, what is the last note?
Well, you guys have to come to Cambodia with us on a Pilates retreat.
Obviously.
And some breath work and some visualization and some tips and tools and workshops on how to actually make your life the way you want to live it. Plus, you get to see incredible temples that are 1,000 years old or older.
Mind-blowing.
You get to go on a beautiful water cruise, and it is incredible because you actually get to see how a city can thrive on the water, how the community
they literally
that they work
live
in.
on boats.
Yeah. And the community that they work in, and this is not some sort of like weird tourism thing. We actually get permission by a community to go into the water. You can see how the city is built, and you actually get to attend one of these amazing shops where you get to see how women can work remotely, making beautiful pieces of things you can buy, and you can support the village in an incredible way. It's so fun. It's so relaxing. It's really nice because after all the breath work you'll have done that day, you just go out and just be in peace and not taking in like overwhelming information. And then also we go to a lotus farm, and you get to see how this one guy's company uses every single piece of a lotus flower to not only create beautiful things you want to buy, but also energy in remote places. It's quite amazing.
It is astounding.
I mean, it's like this guy's like, how can I like change the world? And he is doing it, and we get to go show you that. So it's in October. You want to go to crowsnestretreats.com to snag your spot. If you're like, I'm going to do the next one, we haven't planned it yet. And that is because this is your next time. This is the time.
This is your next time.
So come.
Yeah. So join us at the end of this year in October.
It's looking a great time. It's before all the chaos of the end of the year. So it's a really good time because
it really is.
You can reset before the chaos of the holidays, and then you'll have all these tools and things that we'll have done in the workshops and the Pilates to help set you up for 2026.
Some breath work, some mindset. Go to crowsnestretreats.com. Crowsnestretreats.com. Okay. We had an audience question before we dig into this awesome conversation with Kristen McGuiness.
That was August. That earthquake, you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, it's Earthquake August.
Earthquake August. Okay. Yeah. Love_Daniele on IG asks, when will your flashcards be available again on Amazon? And is there a discount code available?
So the time this comes out, we should be back stocked on Amazon. We were selling out all of our OG mat decks, and we had to completely sell out of that deck on Amazon before the new mat deck could come up. So that's now available on Amazon. Our Reformer deck is our best-selling deck. It continues to
stock.
It's hard to keep in stock.
Thank you for supporting us.
So thank you. We love that you love it. And at the time that you were asking this question, we did have some in stock on our website, but not on Amazon. Right. So what we'll say is we should be stocked on Amazon. We do not have discount codes available for any of our decks. And it's mostly because actually we're really small business guys, and these decks are really a lot of work to put together, and they actually cost a lot of money to print out. And so while we would love to just give the discounts around everywhere, we do have to make sure that they continue to pay for themselves. We continue to print on them. And so you can buy them on Amazon. You could also buy them from us. And if you buy them from us, we obviously can make more money to support more Pilates adventures that are out there. We love
Amazon, but they take a whole lot. We have a love-hate relationship with Amazon.
At the moment, if you are the people trying to do your best to boycott places like Amazon and Target and things like that, we fully support you. And what you can do in your targeting of boycotts is be very intentional about who you're shopping from. So if you are going to shop on Amazon, shopping from people like us is a great thing. Small businesses, because it really does affect us in a positive way. Amazon allows people to find our products who don't know us. And so that's why we are there. Right. It's not because we're like pro everything that they do. We actually need to be
We intentionally sell on our website.
Yeah. So if you buy from our website, it's better for all of us. And then the people that you're not enjoying and not wanting them to make money, don't. So you can buy from us, and then we get it all.
Yeah, so, go to opc.me/flashcards.
So in case you're wondering why we're on there, if you don't own a business with products, you need to understand that the way the world works, we unfortunately, as product-based businesses, have to be where people already are.
Yeah.
And so that exposes them to OPC, and then hopefully they come over to our side and then they find all of our amazing stuff. But I don't judge any of the people who shop on there because we do too. It's convenient. So anyways, all this to say, yes, they're there. They should be back in stock, and you can also buy from us.
Awesome. Well, stick around. We'll be right back because we're going to talk with Kristen McGuiness, who is an author, and she talks about how does she escape the chaos of being an entrepreneur and being a mom to be able to write books. So pretty cool stuff. Great conversation. She sounds amazing. Stick around. We'll be right back. Okay, now let's talk about Kristen McGuiness. Kristen is a best-selling author, book publisher, and a book coach with a deep passion for storytelling and empowering others to find their own voice. With years of experience, Kristen has helped countless authors bring their ideas to life. Her own writing journey includes her novel, Live Through This, a compelling and thought-provoking exploration of resilience and activism. Beyond her professional accomplishments, Kristen is a mother, an entrepreneur who believes in creating space for creativity and living a life aligned with purpose.
I mean, thank you, Roxy Menzies, who introduced us, because I just really...
I was wondering how the dots got connected there.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this intro. I feel like if we lived in Ojai, Santa Barbara, we would all be friends.
Yes.
We'd be, doing life in the daytime, and then I would figure out when she's going to be at that hotel, and I would get another room, and then we could have drinks at the end of the day going, what did you fucking create? Like, this is what I dream of, Kristen. Anyways. I just think she'd be cool. But I also appreciated her vulnerability and honesty. I feel sometimes a lot of moms have to show us all the hats that they can wear in a day. And Kristen was pretty honest about how no. So she said, I think my creative fuel tank is the same place where I draw my maternal energy from. They are both creative forces. When I'm in my mom mode, I'm running off of that creative fuel in the same way I would be if I was writing or editing. But she highlighted the importance of taking time for herself. And she said, at the end of the day, I've got nothing left. I mean, I could do an Excel spreadsheet, but I'm not going to come up with a masterpiece. And I actually really love that. She's actually not putting pressure on herself to write something amazing on the same day she just ran a household. And I found that to be cool.
It's amazing permission.
Yeah, amazing permission. I do. I think that, it takes a lot, because you're like, oh, but you have this thing that you want to write, this thing you want to do. And a creative is like, I've got to birth this thing. And I really think it's cool that she gives herself permission to be where she's at and do what she's doing, wherever that is. So if she's at the hotel writing her work in her masterpiece, she's not momming the children. She and her partner have set things up so that she can do that. And I have a lot of girlfriends who have children, and I find even when we're together, they're not as present as I love them to be, because that boundary isn't there yet. And I think that what's so cool is Kristen gives herself permission to, I have a boundary for my work when I'm with my kids, and I have a boundary for my family when I'm doing this work. And I just think we all could take, even if you don't have kids, you could take permission for that. I want to go to a hotel this month, just by myself.
Me too.
Well, maybe not March. This is a heck of a month, but April. I'm doing it in April.
Okay. I have a couple things. She said one thing that I thought was really interesting. She commented on being a grown-ass woman still having to tell her parents that she's going to a conference when she just rented a fucking hotel room for herself, because of the generational assumption of work hard, play hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this was like a super side note, nothing to do with writing, but I thought it was such an interesting observation. It made me think about it as I was listening to the interview. She said her parents' generation is actually sacrifice until you get retired, and then y'all can go, take a long walk. The rest of my life is for me. I'm never doing anything for anybody ever again, as opposed to the way that she's doing her life, which I think is very generational, because I'm more associated with her. My parents very much are in the way that her parents are. But she's like, how can I enjoy some of my life now and not have to wait till I'm 65 and retired to, quote unquote, enjoy my life? And also this idea of just 1000% self-sacrifice until that time. Maybe there's a happy medium in there that I think we can have. So anyway, that is not what we had written down here for me to chat about today, but I just thought it was so powerful that I wanted to reiterate that.
Also, just in case anyone feels guilty about a fib like that, don't. Sometimes people in our lives are just not going to understand why we do what we do. We don't need their permission.
Yeah.
We don't actually need them to understand. So just tell them what they need to hear so you can go do the thing you want to do.
Well, actually, instead of encouraging people to lie, that's not what we're encouraging here. What I think is a better through line is it's another boundary.
Yeah.
She created a boundary between, her and her mom for this specific experience so that she doesn't have to go through this emotional roller coaster and then justify all the thing and the expense and the and then be judged and, all that.
And you also
bullshit.
speak, but even if we call it a boundary, just so you know, you also don't have to explain why your boundaries exist.
You don't.
And if you need help with that, the holistic psychologist constantly reminds you that you actually do not have to explain why a boundary is a boundary. That it just is.
Yep. That being said, she was talking about control, right? And she said, hey, we clearly can't control things around us. The only thing that we can control are the choices that we make when the things around us are happening. What she was talking about was she's an entrepreneur. Her husband is an entrepreneur. They run different businesses. They also have children, and she's a writer. She said she was reflecting on finding agency in the midst of chaos. And obviously the most glaring example would be COVID. Like you already mentioned, you could set everything up, but then kablam, COVID comes around. She said, you need to flip the way you're looking at it. Instead of like, this shit is happening to me. She said, you get to create your own pathway through whatever it is that you're navigating. And that's an opportunity that you have more control over instead of it's happening to me. So she acknowledged life's unpredictability and emphasized it's just this thing of at a certain point, you didn't hit that first domino and you just have to sometimes be, okay, we're in the pressure cooker right now, but relief is always on the way. Right? And she had a mantra. I actually thought it was great because she clearly knows our audience. She said, I'm going to write my way through this chaos. I'm going to write my way through it because she's a writer. She said, maybe for you guys, you're going to Pilates your way through the chaos. You know what I mean? Wherever is your safe zone.
I agree. Whether you write or do Pilates, there has to be something that you're doing for yourself to process what you're going through. When I found out that Jay had passed away was on a Tuesday, and I still showed up for my session on Wednesday. Yeah. And it's because moving through the grief made it actually easier to grieve. Or when there's a lot going on, you might just want to keep watching the news and just watch them repeat that shit over and over again to keep you there until the next ad break. Or you can go move your body and get Cliff Notes later, because we have to, or you can go write, or you can go journal, or whatever it is. We have to have some way of processing what we're going through so that we can go back to the beginning, whatever the next step is, and keep going. I find that in today's chaos, a lot of people are waiting for things to be better before they take the first next step. And sometimes you just have to take it. So you can use whatever that creative energy is to use that to go through whatever is going on.
Yeah. Well, listen, stick around. We'll be right back because we're going to dig into some really juicy Be It action items that we had.
It's such a good, it's a robust episode.
With Kristen McGuiness. We'll be right back. Welcome back. All right, let's talk about those Be It action items. What bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted action items can we take away from your conversation with Kristen McGuiness? She said, if I care about my creative careers, whatever that thing is that I love to do or that you love to do, you've got to create a boundary around it and hold that sacred, okay? So this is, again, the through line here of today's episode is boundaries. She shared that if you truly care about something, whether it is a creative project, a personal passion, or even self-care, you must be intentional about carving out time to do it, right? There's no question about it. Setting clear boundaries allows you to dedicate energy towards what it is that actually fulfills you, even when life gets demanding. And I think that's the hardest part. She said it's about creating those pockets of freedom, the pockets of concentration, and the pockets of creativity. So we've got the POFs.
POC and POC again.
Yeah, POF. We'll call them POFs, pockets of freedom. And I think that's another argument for taking time to the hotel like she did.
Those all fall under gemstone time.
That's right.
So if you come on my retreat or you've ever heard me talk about how to create an ideal schedule, your gemstone time is time you have to protect.
You got to protect it.
And it is the time where you do things that you need to concentrate and be creative on. So, the things that can propel your life and your dreams forward.
Yeah. So actually moving things forward. So what about you?
Never lose sight of your dreams no matter what. She said this. And I think one of the authors that Oprah quoted was Gertrude Lyons, who said, the only times I've ever made mistakes in life is when I've chosen to ignore that voice. So that voice being like your intuition, the thing that you want to do. And I think that's so true. I think we can all look back and look at the things we regret. And it's like, oh, I didn't turn left when I knew I should have. I turned right, or I should have done this. And she said, as long as you're listening to the small, quiet voice inside you, you will always end up where you need to go. And this is actually just one of the truest things. I mean, just like us sitting here in this house, this was like a small voice going, I think you should move now. I think you should go now. I think, you know what I mean? And not letting all the things.
I think you should go now. I think you should go now.
What if we made a meditation was just like, I think you should go now.
Today is the day that you should go.
Create a boundary.
Going is what today is for.
Yeah, boundaries are kind. Anyways, I hope that you take some time to listen to Kristen's episode a couple times. And really, ladies, especially my ladies, I know there's a few good men who listen, but ladies, I hope you realize this person, she's not perfect. She's not claiming to be perfect. She is really, truly honoring what is possible and when it's possible, and making sure that she doesn't ever stop focusing on what her dreams are, even if it means they're in pockets of freedom and pockets of concentration. So
tell us about your POFs.
We want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode and every episode you listen. This is episode 500.
500.
Ah, cue the balloons.
Whee!
Nope, you don't have it on your thing. If you were okay, well, if you, I think you did. It's okay. It's beyond. It's past now.
Here we go.
If you're listening, they don't even know. But we're trying to do balloons. There we go, confetti on the YouTube. You can see it on the YouTube. We love you. You're amazing, and we couldn't have gotten to 5 episodes without you listening and you writing in and you sending your questions in and you sending your. You got to make it more of a heart, babe, if you're going to do it. And then you've got to send in your wins so we can shout them out on the FYFs, because we want to constantly support you. That's what this podcast is about. So thank you for your love, for your sharing, all of that. And until next time, be it till you see it.
Bye for now.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day.
Be It Till You See It is a production of the Bloom Podcast Network. If you want to leave us a message or a question that we might read on another episode, you can text us at +1 310 905 5534 or send a DM on Instagram at BeItPod.
It's written, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
It is transcribed, produced, and edited by the Epic team at Diseño.co.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to Melissa Solomon for creating our visuals.
Also to Angelina Herrico for adding all of our content to our website. And finally, to Meredith Root for keeping us all on point and on time.